open a cold one, kick back, and enjoy a week's worth of conversation from pop culture, sports, breaking news, and everything in between. Welcome to the Pondering Podcast. At the beginning of the podcast each week, everyone on the show rolls a 20-sided die. The person who rolls the lowest number then becomes the moderator for that week's show, and it's their job to move the conversation along and switch from various topics or questions that can be found on the moderator's cheat sheet, or custom ones they've brought in themselves. If you have a question or a topic you'd like us to discuss, send us an email to contact@thepineroompodcast.com. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get into the show. You're listening to the Pondering Podcast. We're the Pondering Podcast, and we're talking about Game of Thrones. Well, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. Welcome into episode 118 or 119.
That's a great.
We got to season 2 has to be coming up soon, right?
Well, we could have done a
season 2 has to be coming.
We could have done season 2 at episode 100, but we kind of passed that up. So
now we got to wait for 365 days.
So we'll wait and then move on to season 2. Anyway, myself. I guess I'll just be the mod. Does anybody else want to be the moderator?
Go for
It's all you.
All right, I'll be the moderator for today. I got actually, Hannah, for my birthday, got me a brand new dice organizer kit, so I'll bring it down here and we can roll some dice again. But pretend we rolled dice and I won.
How does 26 feel?
No different than 25 or 24.
You don't feel old yet?
No.
You won't feel anything different until probably 40.
Other than all the health issues I have, then,
Jesus, if you got those at 26,
yeah,
like Christ. By the time you hit 35, we might be going to the cemetery to podcast with you. Hopefully not.
You're pushing 30, Job.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
You're getting old, dude.
Well,
Cooley's an unlucky 27.
You're older than me.
Well, I'm still 26.
I know. You could have been.
We've been pushing 30 since 25.
You could have been in our class, technically, right?
dumb
You would have just been young.
No.
Yeah, I always get
Wait.
on my mom
No.
for that,
Yeah, he would have been young for our class.
I would have been young, but
Probably
I would have
really
been in your.
So now you're old for your. You were old for your class.
Yeah.
Because you got your.
Wouldn't he just be just right?
No. They're
Like
in that weird
Goldilocks.
age because they're in the middle of the
Yeah,
summer.
summer's tough because usually the cutoff will get up to August.
Yeah, you were probably one of the first ones in your class to turn 16.
I was the oldest in our class, aside from like
Would you
kids
ever
that got
have
held
gone
back.
up or down? I would stay where you're
Up for sure.
Well, technically,
like,
Jarrett-
not even close. If you could have taken a finger off, I would have went up.
Technically, Jarrett was the oldest in your class, right?
Yeah, by
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
By what?
By 1 minute.
By a smidge.
I
Is it
shoved him
normal
out.
for twins to be born within a minute?
I think that's pretty quick, but we were C-section,
Yeah.
so
So it wasn't like
Yeah.
So
natural
they
birth.
just opened and pulled
ripped
one
us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Jarrett was the first one they grabbed.
Like a cornucopia. Yeah.
Yeah, Jared tried to kill him inside.
Yeah.
Did you know
Didn't
that?
he,
Checked
didn't
him
he
out.
rap
Technically, my mom says my own was wrapped around my head, so he tried to choke me with mine.
like... That's
he was
legendary.
gonna
That's
do what
legendary.
Jeffrey Epstein. He was gonna
Yeah.
make it look like a
Yes.
suicide when it really
Yeah,
wasn't.
He was trying to make it look
Yeah.
like you did it. Wow.
Yeah, we would have brawled at the end. Yeah, and I shoved him out, and then the light came.
So did they have to save you like quickly?
No, I mean I wasn't like dying, but well, I could have been. But I always say everything on my right side is different size than everything on my left. But I think everybody's like that. Like my right nostril is smaller than my left nostril.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
But
You're right not.
everybody's got a different one.
Yeah, I think those aren't.
Mine are
Those
The
pretty
are
left is
similar.
always
Those
supposed to
aren't-
hang lower than the right.
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
Mine are
that-
both pretty similar, but they're both small. So like I think that's why. That's why.
I'm
Wow.
glad everybody gets to enjoy that. Mom, you now know the size of Soup's coins. You know.
Hey, I heard somebody call House of Dragon Hot D.
Hot D, yeah.
Did you know they
We're
call it?
not
Why?
calling it.
What?
Yeah,
Again,
hot
there
D.
goes back a few episodes ago. What the fuck is that?
Well, what they
What?
get
The
got.
acronym.
I've never used the acronym except for because Game of Thrones I never called GOT.
No.
Never called
House of the Dragon. Hot
Breaking
D.
Bad is never BB.
Yeah, I never called it that either.
So, what? How do they phrasing it again?
Hot D.
Hot D.
And that's just the acronym, House of the Dragon. Hot D.
Hot D.
Also, guess what Sammy taught me? Do you know the dragons in Game of Thrones aren't dragons? They're called wyverns.
Well, they're different
Wow.
species.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think those.
Wait, come on, Jub. You probably
Okay.
know this, right?
A dragon
Has 4
technically
legs.
has 4 legs,
Yes,
and then
yeah.
then the wings are on its back, and they're a separate appendage.
Correct.
A wyvern or a wyvern
yeah,
are
they're not
just-
wyverns. Though.
What, in Game of Thrones?
The ones that we're seeing, I think, are dragons.
No, they're not.
It depends on who you classify them through. Through George R.R. Martin, they're dragons, but through Wizards of the Coast, who does
the
Game
real
of the
dragons.
Yeah, or through like history's sake, those would be
Chinese
deemed
dragons.
wyverns because
but they're dragons because George R. R. Martin, we're in a whole different world.
he's labeling them
They're
as
dragons.
dragons.
Okay,
They have
so they're
those in the
dragons.
show. We just haven't seen them.
Hey,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
one thing that I'll ask you guys, and it won't spoil anything for you, I don't think. What? There was a lion in the last episode.
Yeah,
What was that?
I was confused.
Like
by
I
it.
never.
Well,
I mean, I
it's
don't. You don't see a lot of. I mean,
Stark?
obviously there's horses that are the same and stuff.
Starks
No.
were affiliated with lions.
No, that would have
wolves.
been the.
wolves.
No, that was Tyrion's family was
Lannister
lions.
lion.
Yeah, so I think that was probably this. They marched that thing into battle.
Because
Because weren't they going to see one
the
of
guy
the?
was like throwing meat.
Weren't they
going
going to want to go see the Lannister guy?
No, well, that was with that was the Lannister that's at court.
Right.
Has a twin brother,
Right.
and that he
But that's
was
who they were
leading.
visiting when we saw the lion.
They were visiting that
weren't?
Lannister army was
Right.
marching on one of the keeps that was of the Rivermen.
So, but the lion was with them, right? Or
They
not?
were Lannister army. That was the
Okay,
Lannister
because I was
army.
saying, I was like, what? Because I
They were
never
feeding it
seen.
meat.
Yeah, it was all bleeding, bloody, and
Back
stuff.
to Game of Thrones. Was Tyrion a top 3 character for you guys?
I would say so,
Dude.
Is that the dwarf or is that the grandpa?
He was the.
I always
Tywin's.
get
Tywin's.
All right,
are-
go around them. Let's get your top 3.
If you're interested in
Easy.
Game of Thrones, you can see now what the topics are. So if you're not, then just move on to the next.
Can I
part.
go
Yeah,
first?
if you're not, then where the hell have you been?
Yeah, get out of your rock.
Seriously.
Go ahead, Sue.
I'm going to go Arya. Arya, Jon Snow, Tyrion.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
Dude, that Arya is
That's
a
strong.
badass.
She's my number
She
one.
was awesome.
Matt.
So I go Arya, Tyrion, and off the grid a little bit, Beric Dondarrion.
I love Beric Dondarrion.
He's in my top 3.
yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah.
Plenty of good candidates though.
Yeah.
There is some good.
Because
but
the
you
Hound
guys-
is tough
The
to not get
Hound's
in the
awesome,
top 5.
man. The Hound is so cool.
You guys are leaving off the two best guys in the
And I
whole
love
show.
Jon Snow too, but
Rob Stark, absolute
Yeah, legend.
Legend.
He's a good one. I agree.
the king in the north, and then the Viper, Oberyn Martell.
He would have been
sick,
in there
dude.
too.
He
I was
would've-
considering
He
him.
was sick.
He wasn't in long enough though
He
for me.
wasn't,
yeah,
he wasn't.
But I liked him a
He
lot.
was such a cool character.
Terrible way to go down. Talk
Yeah.
about the worst death in the whole show. If I, in
His,
my
his
opinion.
fight scene was awesome. I think
Oh.
he's the
Yeah, it
best
was.
fighter.
Just depressing at the end.
And then for my third one, I'd have to go with the Hound.
That's
Yeah,
good.
mine
That's
is Sandor Clegane, the Hound, his number one for sure. I think his whole from beginning to end, I loved following him the whole way.
Wait, Job, pause your list. Who's hold the door scene?
Hodor.
Hodor.
No, who was in that with him?
Well, Bran was in
Bran.
it.
Okay,
and then
that's
the
right.
girl,
And then
that-
the other girls,
other
the-
Okay,
Hold the door.
go ahead.
nameless girl.
The girl and the brother, maybe. Or he may have
I'd
been
say, I would say, him is number one. Then I'd probably have to say, I really like Ned Stark, but we didn't
Yeah.
see a lot of him.
Yeah.
But I would say Ned Stark, and then again we didn't see a lot of him. But I've been watching clips of like season 1. I really liked Robert Baratheon.
he was
He's
great.
cool. Yeah, he was
But
really cool.
I would say those are my 3. Just in general, my
Wait,
favorite.
So do you like Robert Baratheon in the show, or do you like the thought of him as he was younger?
I liked him in the show, but just knowing what he could do, I feel like I really,
Because I feel like in the show he's just a fat SOB.
which I feel like that's what I would be.
just
where,
who you
where
Those
are
are
we
all
at
good.
where are we at with Daenerys?
Oh, she's awesome.
She
I
went.
thought she was awesome, too.
She was very good. Probably went
I
down
take
a
it
little
back.
bit into
I
the
take
end.
back. I'm moving. I'm
Okay,
rescinding what
rearranging.
I
That's
said.
all right.
The Hound. Then I would have put Jorah Mormont, and I would have
Jorah's
put oh shit, Sir Barristan Selmy.
Okay.
Hey, what was Arya's trainer's name when she went in the Faceless Man? Can we remember that? He was a beast too, dude. I can't remember his name.
There's so many random ass names. The names are confusing.
He
as hell.
was. I can't believe I
That
can't
scene-
remember his name.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I'll get it. It's a two name.
It's a kind of
it's
unique.
That
very
scene
unique.
is sick when she's getting chased by the girl and she goes in there
The
and,
waif,
and
yeah.
she chops the light off the candle
I
so
still
she can
don't
fight
like
the dark.
that Arya's the
Because
one.
I've looked that actor up too, and it always has that as his number one name. I can't believe I can't remember that. But all good lists, guys. Those are strong. I mean, it's so hard to pick. That show had so many a vast run of characters, all of which just they really did a great job with the casting.
And I might even sub out. Barristan Selmy wasn't in it enough,
Yeah,
so I
that's-
would probably
yeah.
take him out of
He
there.
would get like an
I
arm.
I would really fight for Samwise Tarly. to be
Jock
up
and
there.
Hager.
That's it. Yeah.
What a beast.
Samwise Tarly. Samwise.
Sam Tarly was good.
What was his first name? No, it's Sam.
Yeah,
Samwell.
Samwell. Yeah. Not Samuel. Samwell.
I said Samwise. That's Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. Samwell Tarly was one of my favorites.
What about your guys? Who's your most 3 hated? Number 1 is the one you hate the most.
I keep thinking of good characters. Elena Tyrell was awesome.
She's great.
Yeah, she was great.
But worst, probably Cersei, just because she was a bitch the whole time.
Joffrey
was a fantastic.
Wait, so you guys go Joffrey or
Matt,
Ramsay?
But Ramsay's unreal.
He
But
was a
Matt, that's the
dick,
thing
too.
about like the characters we dislike. We dislike
Right.
because they're such good
Wait,
characters.
I'm not talking about most evil. The one that you
Yeah.
dislike the most, because I know I have one that's not probably a little bit off. But what do you guys think?
Oh, that one, the Liza Aaron was a bitch. I hated her
Ooh,
too.
yeah. Ooh, God, yeah, she was terrible.
See, Ramsay was evil, but I liked his character. I thought he was
that
awesome.
that was an incredible casting job.
Yeah.
I mean, and Joffrey too. I mean,
Yeah.
just amazing.
But that's his face.
Oh, I know. I loved him when he died. It was so great. My worst hated person on the entire show, and I never liked him from the very beginning at all. Theon Greyjoy. I couldn't stand him. Reek. Yeah, I didn't even feel sorry for him. By the time he was Reek, because he annoyed me so much.
I think he deserved.
Yes, he did to a degree. He did.
Seeing him get tortured made me happy because that one. What was the one guy? He was Ned Stark's like advisor. He had the beard that was like that, down to his braid. He cut his head off.
Yeah.
He took Winterfell. He
turned on the people that helped him his whole life.
Like that took him in.
Yeah. He's a nobody.
What about Caitlin Stark for how she treated Jon Snow?
Yeah, but in her defense, she didn't
know.
know. But I mean, she was not nice to him, no doubt. I didn't hate her.
There's no one that
I get what you're saying.
I would hate, but the way that Cersei played Littlefinger towards the end,
no, she was great.
She manipulating him. She was seriously getting under my skin.
Jamie Lannister had a good arc too. He had a good.
Yeah, he did. He
except I don't like
dislikable and then likable.
I don't like how he ended though. I think Brienne Tarth was too good to him.
Yeah, she was awesome.
That wasn't their best job writing there.
Who's the redhead guy that loved her?
Tormund.
Oh, Tormund
Giants.
He was a good one.
Tormund and Ygritte. I was just looking them up. Those are two of my underrated
Ygritte was a
characters.
good
Do you know
one.
that Jon Snow, Kit Harington, married her in real life?
Are they still married?
Yeah, they
Rose
had,
Leslie,
had all of the cast members.
No
like,
way.
There were
everybody.
multiple of them were his best men.
Yeah,
like,
wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
Is Ygritte? They're both not American, right?
No,
Jon
both
Snow,
British.
no.
The only main cast person that was American in the whole show was Peter Dinklage.
Yeah,
New Jersey.
I think I did
the
know
only
that.
one.
It's unbelievable.
Everybody else was from Europe.
Who else?
You know
Or
what Peter Dinklage is good
Australia.
in? You guys have probably seen him in. Not is it Guardians of the Galaxy when Thor has to come?
Oh, he's the
he turns
dwarf.
into a giant.
Yeah, he's the dwarf.
Who else? I was thinking of some other
Endgame,
good characters. Podrick Payne, he was good.
He was
I
good.
love Pod.
They all had good roles.
He had a hammer on him.
Yeah, he didn't have to pay.
that complimented that. What were your guys' thoughts on Sansa Stark?
She was
Just
good.
Okay.
She
I
was
liked her at the end when she got a little
Yeah.
bit more like grown up.
I'll tell you, who else is a good.
That's who played Littlefinger. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
When she was manipulating him at the end.
Yeah,
Peter
he-
Baelish. Yeah.
he was
Littlefinger
a one
thought,
to
yeah.
hate. He was one to hate.
Who was the worst villain?
Ooh.
Him, Cersei,
Joffrey was just Joffrey.
Ramsay was the most brutal.
Yeah,
Joffrey, I've never been so happy the character suffered the way he did, like choking on his own bile, like that.
And
made
old
me
lady
so-
Tyrell did the job.
Yeah, when
You know what I just realized?
shocking scene.
In the first season when Daenerys' brother sitting there with that.
Oh, he was an unlikable one.
When he's sitting in that tub with that lady and she's like, tell me a story, and he's like, I can't tell you anything. And she said, well, I've heard stories of a blonde burning cities. Like,
Was he Viserys too?
Yeah,
he was Viserys.
He was
And
Viserys
you think that she's talking about later in Game of Thrones when Daenerys does it, but she's talking about stories from House of Dragon that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy.
Yeah,
got
there's
that
a
to look
lot.
forward to.
George R. R. Martin, his world is super
incredible.
complex.
And when they brought that stuff to life, I can't credit the people who picked those characters, the
They
people
nailed
that
it.
play them. I mean, they played
Perfectly.
everything. There wasn't one person that was miscast in that show, and you can't say that because there's plenty of good shows I'm sure you guys watched that where you're like, there's like one or two weak links.
The Mountain was he turned out like
He was awesome.
The Hound going out with him at the end. Spoilers if you haven't watched.
I mean, by now the grace period's over.
Yeah.
You got House of the Dragon to watch. There's supposed to be a Jon Snow show coming out.
They canceled it.
They did.
Did they really?
Yeah,
cancel?
they did.
Why?
I just read that like 2 days ago. I couldn't believe it. They
Well,
said
I didn't
they
even
couldn't
see that anywhere.
Well, that DB Wise and that those two guys, D&D, they said they couldn't find a storyline that they were enthusiastic about
Fuck
writing.
them. They can find something
I
else
said,
to watch.
and I'm him and
That's a
I
shame.
agree on something. I want to see if there's a show in a timeline, I want to see either way before it or way ahead, like the other direction. Like give me two different. I want to see something totally different.
So you're good with this.
I love like House of the Dragon to a degree, but I already know what's going to happen because of Game of Thrones. I already know what's going to happen. So, like, in knowing that the future is already written is kind of a bummer to me. So, like, seeing something that's after that. That's why I like the new Star Wars so much, is because we didn't know what was going to happen. But I also...
You don't mean the Acolyte, not
No,
the new
Jesus,
old
God
Star
in
Wars.
Heaven, no. But, like, something about not knowing... Like, not having a direction of which you're going to go. I love that, too. And I'll say this, too. I harbor a disdain for too much of the like on South Park, the member berries, like throwing old stuff into new stuff.
Yeah,
like,
they do
like,
can do that too much.
They milk it a little bit too much in Marvel, and even towards the end of Star Wars, like it got too like
too much name
too much
dropping
old
and
stuff. Like I want new. I want new at some point, but I think House of the Dragon they've done really well with.
I think it's risky for those guys to try to do like before, like a prequel, because then you can risk like fucking like the Acolyte, how they pretty much just destroyed the storyline for Star Wars. Like,
How did George Lucas ever sign off on that?
Jub, did you see how far does House of Dragon take us? Like into
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about all the way up until one side wins, we're coming up close. But
But just to put it in perspective, Rhaenyra's the great grandmother of
so that's
Daenerys.
we're only 3 generations away.
four.
Four before.
Yeah.
4 generations away.
So a couple hundred years, but
Which isn't that long.
I think the casting for that has been phenomenal too.
Yeah, they've done pretty good.
I think Matt Smith and Emma Darcy and
she's superb.
I have like
you
a
guys
celebrity
like
crush
Kristen
on her.
Cole.
Sir Kristen. He's grown.
I
on
hate
me.
him. I hope he dies. I can't
No,
wait for
because
him to die.
he is.
I hate
same
him
thing
more
we were
than
just
worse
talking
than the
about.
2 sons.
The reason we don't like him is because of how good of acting he is. He's upsetting everybody with some
I'll
of the
tell you
things
what,
he's
if you
doing.
told me a villain of the whole franchise, he might be up there for me. I fucking hate that guy.
Kristen Cole?
I hate
Yeah,
him.
me
He's
too.
brutal.
He's
And
a fucking asshole.
And then what's Allison?
Dude,
She just
She-
annoys me. She always
Her
has that
scene,
stupid
Matt,
fucking look on her face,
that
like she's
scene
ready to
from-
cry.
I think it was season.
I
No,
don't
it was.
like it.
It was season 2 now when Aegon was sitting there and she's like, and he was asking his mom, Allison, like, "What do you want me to do?" And she said, "Just sit there and do nothing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my!"
Yeah, I mean that's all he needed to do.
She
though.
knows. She knows she messed up, and
She knows.
And after again, spoiler alert: if you're watching this, I'll give you a little bit.
This is a little
grace
more up
period.
to.
No,
like,
yeah, this is the
recent-
If you
spoiler.
haven't seen, if you have not seen House of the Dragon up until recently, just like skip forward. I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe not that. No,
20
5
minutes.
minutes.
20
5
minutes.
5 minutes.
Jump,
not
she
20.
knows she messed up when she sat there with
when
Rhaenyra.
When Rhaenyra told her
Yeah.
it was not Aegon her son, it was Aegon the Conqueror.
Right.
She knew she messed up, and I think she knows she messed up now, and that's why, and especially as of recent things, I won't spoil this recent episode, but for recent things, like she knows that she went down the wrong path.
Yeah.
And I don't blame Aemond One Eye. I don't blame him for being pissed at like the kids, because those the Rhaenyra's kids bullied the shit out of him. Like gave him a pig, made fun of him. I don't.
It went back and forth, though.
Aegon's a dick. He's a dick. He's a complete.
He's a fun
asshole.
character.
But they casted him really well. Rhaenys was fantastic.
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
She was
I loved
awesome,
her.
dude.
And then I think Rhaenyra.
She's the best.
Emma
Wow.
Darcy does so like fantastic. The way her emotions in that show.
She's incredible.
Fantastic.
She's one of the best actresses I've ever seen.
I can't believe it.
Cannot believe it either. It's an amazing job.
like some of those other Patty, who played Viserys, Patty Constantine, fantastic. But yeah, if you haven't seen House of Dragon or Game of Thrones,
What about the clubfoot guy?
Oh, fuck him too.
dude.
He's not very likable. You can tell he's conniving.
The Strongs
literally
were
Littlefinger.
The
Yeah,
Strongs
you're right.
were so cool. I loved both of those characters. The one guy that was on court, and then what was Strong? The other Strong that got in a fight with Kristen Cole, that had Rhaenyra's kids.
Mm-hmm. And then Tino, my cousin Tino and I were just talking about that. Where'd they send him? They shipped
to
him off.
Harrenhal. They took him to Harrenhal and
Is
burned
he
him
there
inside.
right-
No,
Oh,
they
they
burn
burn
him
him.
inside of Harrenhal.
I didn't realize that. I thought they sent him to the north or something.
No. They just put him back because that's where the Strongs are supposed to be. And then
I'm confused because they keep saying they don't have a land army, but I thought the Greybeards from the north are supposed to come fight for them.
well, that Northern Army is supposed to be mobilizing, but I don't know.
Is that just not happening anymore?
I guess
That's what I've been confused
We'll
about.
see.
it's a large continent.
We got to get Damon out of Harrenhal.
I know.
If I see him losing his shit one more time, I'm gonna stop watching because he's the coolest
It's
character
like
in the show.
You know what it is? It's like they couldn't finalize his contract for season 2, and if they were negotiating like how many lines he would get, and they had to figure out how to give him a
Just stick him somewhere,
stick
like
him
a
somewhere.
placeholder. You're right. That's a good point.
There was like a video of it was like a picture of Harrenhal, and then it was like a dog with a collar on it, and it was like barking in the front yard, and it was saying like Caraxes while Damon is tweaking inside of Harrenhal.
I saw that.
But yeah, if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. You seriously are missing out. I know people talk about it, and like people don't like mainstream shows. Sometimes you're really, really missing out. These people, other than other than maybe season 8 of of Game of Thrones, which I'm mixed on these days, but it's prime
Remember how dark
cinema.
Remember how dark it was in the one
I love
episode?
Oh,
I thought it was great. There were some things that I would have changed, but I mean,
no doubt. But
They
they're not,
did
it's hard to get a show like
yes,
that perfect.
exactly.
they didn't have the books done. What are they supposed to do? They can't delay it until
Yeah.
old man
yeah.
Whitebeard.
I mean, it could have been better though, but it was still good enough.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it's
agreed.
not as bad as everyone makes it out to
No,
be. No
definitely
matter
not.
what, you got to find some harmony and some.
I just wish.
enjoyment in it.
My one big thing that I wish would have happened was we see the Night King actually fight.
Yeah.
That was my
Fight
only
Jon
disappointment.
Snow.
But I did. I mean, having Arya do it was great.
I hated
That scene was sick. She was caught her
Oh,
hand,
that
just
was
dropped
awesome.
it and caught him.
What don't you guys think it's? I envy people who haven't watched Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon
get to
yet,
watch it for the
because
first
they could
time?
just go and right now and they just go on a
Oh,
massive binge.
For days,
Like,
days,
and think
hours.
about all how
I think about
great episodes. And I mean, I've watched Game of Thrones fully probably three times, and I'll do it again sometime
Yeah.
for sure.
I knew that game was gonna. That movie was gonna be show. Jesus, I knew that show was gonna be strong at the end of season 1 when they
what a sick scene.
when his head got lopped off.
And
Like,
she's who's in the crowd? Was it
Arya.
Arya in the
Sansa,
crowd?
too.
Arya.
Yeah.
that
Both of
dude,
them, yeah.
that dude took her
Do
away.
you guys have any other shows that you wish you could just wipe your memory?
Breaking Bad for the first time was sick.
I watched Breaking Bad with you.
See, I couldn't watch that one again.
I don't.
Yeah,
anymore.
they're
I good, but great characters to
I-
a point. But some of them annoy me so much I couldn't wait
Cooley
to get it
hates
over.
this.
Worst character ever in the history was Skylar White. I
Yeah,
fucking
she's
hated
a
her.
Yeah.
bitch.
Miserable and a bad actress too. There's a show that got it wrong with the actress.
Yeah.
She's terrible.
When she gave that money away and he went nuts underneath
Guy's
the house.
trying his ass off and she's just miserable.
There's a scene though in Breaking Bad that is like one of my favorite ever when he's in the back of that school bus and the cop knows that he's there and he calls
that
calls
was a
the
good
cop
one.
and
Yeah.
fakes that his wife's in the hospital to get away. That's insane.
that I would say that show I enjoyed that. I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Is
just
it a
'cause-
top 5 or top 10 to you, or even
neither.
that?
Probably neither.
Yeah, I would say.
I'd say
probably
close top 10. Close.
Yeah, I would give it that.
close.
Cooley hates that. You don't
Dragged on too long, didn't you guys think
Yeah,
a little?
yeah.
Like he kept getting out of it.
Like, how long can he sit there and sell drugs for?
Right.
Before
I
give
will
him-
And
say-
Jesse Pinkman had a breakdown like every third
Yeah,
episode,
like,
and I like that guy played it
was, he
awesome. He
did.
was
He did a
really
good
good.
job.
But
That world of crime and drugs, that stresses me out a lot, man. Like, we watched, if you haven't seen it yet on Netflix, it's called Your Honor. It's with Bryan
Yeah,
Cranston.
really
He's
good.
fantastic. It just, and it's not near as dark as any other show, but it just shows you how once you start down a path, it splinters off into 1,000 different ways that you got to try to wrangle in. But yeah, that one's a good one.
Very good show.
There are several shows that I would rewind.
I love Money Heist, but you always say that you hate the bank,
Can't
like in
watch
the
it.
in the
It's just
robbing.
so predictable, though.
Oh, I
It got
loved
too
it.
predictable. That's
Loved
how
it.
you can kind of tell a good show.
Yeah.
To me, if you can predict the outcomes, then it's
Every
usually
bank
not very
robbing
good.
show is the same shit. They fucking go in, they come out like a whole group. It's like, oh, this guy can do this. He's the driver.
Specialist,
He's
yeah.
the brain. Then they go in, they get the money, they get out, and they either die or they get out.
Or there's an issue. There's one issue, and
Yeah,
they're gonna
someone fucks something up.
they
And
can't.
And you can see the
it's
issue
coming down to the wire, and they can't get a door open, or then finally they slip out.
Or the
cops miss
explosives
every
won't
shot.
work at the right spot.
Yeah.
And that also dragged on too long. They could have made that into like a 2-hour movie. It would have been
Yeah.
decent, but it was long.
What about when they have to cut the wire? That's like, oh god, like I don't know.
Red
if
or
this is
blue,
the way
red
you
or
want.
blue.
And then going into everybody's individual character story, it just took forever.
Yeah, I would say here's another. I have a question for people that watch modern day sitcoms. I have no and I yell at Nick for this. Young Sheldon, have you ever?
Can't watch it.
My family likes
listen,
that.
listen to me. I would rather watch that fan oscillate for 4 hours than sit and watch Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon, Modern Family.
Wait,
Big
does
Bang
oscillate
Theory.
mean to spin?
Yes. I'm now
never heard that.
Big Bang Theory. I watched a little bit because I was younger, but like as an adult, I would never sit down and watch a sitcom.
What about Friends?
Oh my god, a waste of life.
can't fucking stand Friends.
I can't believe that show was good.
But here's I
Or
think
people thought it was
think
good. I never
Friends
got
could
into
be
it.
funny. I think Friends could be funny. But what cheapens the show is some dude drops ice on the floor and the whole crowd just goes nuts like it's the funniest thing ever.
Where are you guys at with The Office?
Oh, that's
Fantastic.
a great show. That's really
Oh,
well
nice.
written.
I've never-
Genius.
I've never watched it. Every time I turn it on, I laugh.
Yeah,
And
that's
I've
one.
never-
Genius
You don't even
writing.
need to watch that one straight through. You
Like-
can just catch them episode
Dude,
by episode. and
That
it's-
episode when The Office catches on fire.
Ricky Gervais.
Do they throw a cat through the ceiling or like someone falls through the
No,
ceiling or
she
something?
goes. Oscar climbs into the ceiling above accounting, and Angela says, "Take Bandit." And well, she tried to climb up, and Oscar says, "You too heavy." And she goes, "Take Bandit," and throws him up into the ceiling,
Yeah.
and then he goes a little further and comes down through the drop ceiling.
Yeah.
But the genius writing, Stephen Merchant and Ricky Gervais were genius with that show, and it faded out after season 7. But
Writing makes it all.
man, it was good. And my dad's watching now. We always watch it during dinner, but that's a fantastic.
It's always on
show.
Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Usually around dinner
Oh.
time.
It's so good. My sense of humor though is I would like to say my sense of humor is advanced because not a lot of things make me laugh. Like there has to be a very specific. Like I have a very narrow lane of things.
What
that-
comedians do you like?
comedians are rough for me. I really will not sit and watch a comedy show because I don't think a practice act ever really makes me laugh.
Really?
It just doesn't really get me. I'd say the last one that I thought was funny was Shane Gillis did a really good one. I used to like George Carlin had a good
Carlin's
one.
awesome.
John Panette had a good one when I was younger. He passed away when I was in like sophomore year, but I have a very narrow lane of things that make me laugh, and I can't.
What about like Segura and them?
I think they're funny off of comedy.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
I think them on their podcast is way more funny than they are when they
do
practice shit on stage.
Some guys and girls aren't that good at the delivery and the
Yeah.
like Jubb said, it's scripted. It's not funny. You can tell what's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where it's
Theo
gonna go.
Bond's like that. His comedy stand-up is kind of just okay, but if you listen to his podcast, he'll make you laugh.
It's hilarious.
and just yeah, I don't know. It's my
Don't you find yourself feel like a waste of time if you're watching a comedy TV show? Like the only two comedy TV shows that I've ever enjoyed, probably in my whole life, were Seinfeld and The Office.
yeah.
Like,
I never watched
because of the
Seinfeld.
writing, just because of the writing. I know you hate the laugh track on that.
Yeah.
But the writing was so good. The show was awesome. But it's hard to find. I agree with you. Those silly shows.
Even movies now, comedy movies
Yeah, I
are
can't
rough for
watch
me.
them.
Real rough for me.
They don't make them like they used to.
not Dumb and Dumber out there anymore.
like
No, old school
like
Step
old
Brothers.
old Seth Rogen movies and like where his writing was really good. I really enjoyed those, like Superbad, and
Were you an old school fan, Job, with Will Ferrell and them?
I watched it a long time ago. It's probably not in my top
Yeah.
movies, but it's
I'm not a Will Ferrell guy at all.
Oh.
I used to be not any. I like his his prime movies I really enjoyed, but some of the other
Can you
stuff,
remember
Like
old
Ron
school enough
Burgundy.
though, like to like remember scenes from it?
there's some stuff we can't say on here.
They were
yeah.
they were at the end of the movie.
Uncensored.
They're trying to get their fraternity back, and they have to do the gymnastics to be sports since they're a fraternity. And there's a real big heavy set dude, and he has to do what's the thing in the Olympics where you jump, you run, you jump, and then you spin in the air and land. It's like
Oh,
like
like it's like
gymnastics.
he hits a trampoline.
he hits a
and then-
trampoline and then spins. Well, anyway, it's a heavy set dude, and the guy's like, "It's gravity, it won't work." And the guy says, "Don't worry, Abdul's down there, he'll catch you."
He's like the
Real
skinny little Indian dude.
Yeah, skinny little dude waving to him at the other end.
I think. Do you like dark comedies
Yeah.
at all?
I mean, I would lean that way over anything else.
what's
There's
considered
just
that?
complete
So
silly
I'll get you a
stupidness.
list here of dark comedies. So like,
I feel like I don't really know any.
Yeah, I don't know what would be dark like.
yeah. So let me see.
Is
if
like
I can-
Zombieland
like
dark?
Inglorious Bastards. You ever see that movie?
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
that's pretty good.
Like Django is technically a comedy because
Django's
there's
really
funny
good.
there's funny parts in there, but it's like Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh, I mean, but that don't really strike me as comedies, though.
But there's some funny shit in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it doesn't feel like
When
the
he
sole
chokes him with a
purpose-
phone cord in the kitchen.
That's not
awesome.
even I don't even think that's the funniest part in that movie.
He chokes in the phone cord, then he chokes on a pinwheel, on a ham pinwheel.
Yeah.
like a comedy to me is like Blades of Glory or
Well, yeah, that's a
Project,
different
and,
type
like,
of comedy.
I don't know, that just feels more. I don't know. Doesn't feel like a comedy to me.
This is the end. You ever see that? Where it's the end of the world, and it's like oh shit, Danny
Treviso?
no,
Oh, just like the world's ending and they're all.
it's
like,
all comedians in
like
a house.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
That movie's hilarious.
Anyway, movie talk. If you got favorite movies, I know no one ever does, but if you want to email us some of
Yeah,
your favorite movies,
give me a show for
yeah,
God's sake.
give us
people.
something. Good lord.
I watched 3 Body Problem because you guys were talking about
Yeah,
it.
What'd you,
what'd you
you
think?
like it?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good.
It was
To me,
so good. I can't
it-
wait for the next season.
We talk about this all the time. I like when things are not. I like super real, like unrealistic, futuristic stuff, but I also like fringe stuff where it could
be
show you
real.
what could happen.
Yeah. That's one of those.
Because
Massive-
that wow signal, you know about what she found when she was sitting and she saw that thing going like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo in that radio tower.
Yeah.
There's a scene in there where there's a piece of paper and it says wow on it with an exclamation point and it has digits next to it. That's a real signal there's a radio transmission called the wow signal that was picked up back
Oh
in
yeah, they talk about it in the show.
Yes.
In Ohio State.
Yes. And that is a real signal that happened. And that to me is like one step away from being that
No
movie.
Well,
question.
massive spoiler here if you want to watch 3 Body Problem. Go watch it.
5 minutes.
But this is a massive spoiler, so don't listen to this. Them at the end, like saying that the extraterrestrial people, what they call them?
Boy, I can't remember.
Anyway, they send the message to him and say, "Listen, we're like scared of you because you're gonna figure this out faster than we can figure it out.
Right.
So we have to take care of
That's why they send those things to disrupt everybody's.
you." Yes,
and
those the little balls that can hear and see everything.
Yeah, because they know that the exponential growth of human evolution
of our
has
civilization. Yes,
it's been like
Which is
5,000
sick.
years since
Then they
we.
give those 3 people the
Yeah.
ability that they have to figure out a plan, but they can't talk about it. Like they have
Yeah.
to keep the plan in their brains.
I love
That's
original
sick.
stuff. I really love original things that are new, and those are all books too. So I might read those in the future. But
a couple of Game of Thrones characters in that show.
yeah,
too.
I didn't
yeah.
know that.
Sam and
Oh yeah, I saw
and
Tolly.
what was the other?
The Onion Knight.
No, I liked him too. He's
of-
a good Davos
Davos Seaworth.
Yeah, he was good.
God, he was a good character.
A very
too.
good character.
Good lord.
Yeah.
And you killed her.
Watch Game of Thrones. My God, if you
Yeah.
haven't watched it yet, my Lord, your brother and your
Yeah.
dad.
I don't know what.
Your dad, I don't
Well,
know. But
he-
honestly, here's the thing about Game of Thrones. Like, a lot of the stuff is like a medieval setting, so it's not like so
No.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
No.
Like, there's a lot of things there that like are real life things.
He likes guns and
Right.
shooting
And a cop and a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
trying to figure out
Matt.
a murder.
Aaron Rodgers was just on Pardon My Take, and he just got back from Egypt, and he was saying how incredibly fascinating it was that,
I'm
that
sure.
those things that the pyramids they had to build weighed anywhere between like 2 to 50 tons.
Yeah, per stone, too.
And they traveled with these things miles, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't, and the fact that they're on. There's another topic for you, but Jub's the moderator. But
No, I was
just
at- I was-
north, south, east, west exactly. It's impossible to have
and
built
they
those,
said that
and
they-
no possible
the
way without help
chambers-
from above.
The chambers that they had for all the kings and queens, they've never found a body.
Right.
Like, where did everybody go?
There's a lot of
Yeah,
trap
so,
doors. There's a lot of mysteries.
It's a great segue because I was going to bring it up. I told you about this, and I think you were in the room when I told you about this. On the news, they reported, I think it was last week or a month ago maybe, that they reported that they found that scientists supposedly have found or taken pictures of these suns that are surrounded by what are called Dyson spheres. Now, I haven't looked up too much information about what these possibly could be, but what that could classify as is alien structures that are harnessing the energy of the sun, which classifies them as a classification 3 society, which means that they are now harvesting power directly from another body of their solar system, which puts them incredibly more advanced than we were. Can you imagine? We collect sun on a solar basis, like as much as we can. But can you imagine if you encapsulated the entire energy of the sun?
Right.
You would harness exponentially more power than
You could
we
literally
ever
do
imagine.
anything you wanted.
Yeah.
with
So
that.
then after
Yeah, we
that
had to
one-
rely on coal and shit.
yeah, after that,
They don't.
after that civilization is called a 4 civilization, and that is being able to harness every sun within your galaxy. So that's a type 4, and that's just you can't even fathom how much you could do with that amount of power, or what that would even look like. But these superstructures that are supposed to be in space. We're talking about the conspiracy theories about the pyramids.
Wait,
we're talking about
hold there a second. Why do they think the Dyson sphere is direct correlation to this being a civilization 3?
Well, it's a superstructure around the sun,
Man-made?
and it's a
You
Russian.
want to call him, man?
Yeah, it's
Some
a
sort of-
a Russian astronomer or a scientist or something came up with a scale for civilization. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 is a basic civilization that can't harness even the power from your own planet. I could be wrong on that. I could be a step forward or backward.
We're like a
either way.
negative 1.
So we're 2, which means we're harnessing the power of the planet, which is thermal, water,
Right.
heat,
All the natural resources.
solar,
Okay.
Yeah.
like everything from the planet. So we're talking about conspiracy theories and stuff like that with the pyramids and the planets, stuff like that. Dessert is an essential part to a quality life, and quality desserts make life all the more better. Had a long day at work and you need something sweet? Maybe you're out late and you need the perfect snack to cap off your evening. Or you're just a dessert lover with a knack for the finest of sweet treats. Well, say hello to the Brownie House, home of the best brownies ever. A family bakery dedicated to baking the world's best gourmet brownies, baked with premium imported chocolate, high-quality ingredients, and no preservatives. No prepackaged, pre-made, fake-tasting chocolate, no. These brownies are made from scratch, shipped nationwide, and delivered right to your door. And starting right now, you can head to yesbrownies.com and use the code PINEROOM, all caps, during checkout to receive 20% off your order. For the best brownies and more, take a trip to the Brownie House. I was going to go around and get your favorite conspiracy theory in general of things that are in society.
I love one. I don't know the name of it. Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, 2 things. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm almost positive he's the one that talks about astro physicist for dummies. I think this is when he talks about it.
Right.
That if you go, this is kind of two-sided here, but he says if you go out onto a beach, and this, I don't even think this is a conspiracy. This is really just like how.
Yeah, or it can be just a fact, like
two things. One, he says that if you go out onto a beach and you stick your finger in the sand and you pull your finger up and there's one little thing of salt or a grain of sand there, that's our solar system. Mm-hmm. And then if you look around, that's everything else out there in the world.
Yeah, so I did a blog post if you're interested in going on the
and then
Pine Room
Job,
blogs.
I don't know if this is I'm almost positive this is a theory. I don't know the name of it though. They said like however many years back we got so advanced we just blew everything up and then had to restart.
Oh, you think we were a society before?
That's a strong
I believe that's like a
possibility.
possibility, right? Like we've been here for so long.
So you could find like a fossil of like a Bic lighter somewhere.
Like you're saying, like we've already had. Like I'm saying, we've already had these.
Yeah. So you think that's a theory, is that we existed before written history?
That's my thing. I just don't understand how we how that's not a possibility. We've been here
Oh,
for
it's
so
definitely
long.
a possibility.
How have we not advanced so far? We just blew everything up and had to start over again.
Well, I mean, you think about how many thousands of years it took us before we can even could like irrigate farmland, and then once we did that, how close we were to making a car, and then how far from the car to the rocket ship.
Yeah, so isn't like
plane and all
the
that.
whole thing like with 3-body problem? That's what you were explaining to me.
It's
over the next 10 years, it's going to be insane.
exponential
how fast.
growth is
Yeah.
incredible.
Just
Like
multiplies quicker.
yeah. But we did a blog. If you want to check out the blogs, Cooley just posted his, or Cooley just got his posted today. Tyler
best
Cooley,
one.
aka the greatest. Chris made one truth versus cliche. I did one about space, and I want to. You mentioned picking up a grain
Yeah.
of sand. I want
Wait,
to
Jeff, before you start, do you guys ever like when the stars are unbelievable? Do you ever look up and your brain just starts hurting because you try to think about all of it?
That's part of what
insane, dude.
Yeah. So here's a fact. I don't know if you read this, but so this is what I wrote. Unlike anything comprehensible by the human mind, there is no scale to the universe, only what we can see. The observable universe is estimated to be 92 to 94 billion light years in diameter. And the reason that it is measured in light years is not something smaller like miles is that astronomers found that rather quickly the number becomes far too large far too quickly. For reference, 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. So multiply that by 92 billion. So multiply 6 million by 92 billion, which is a lot. So not to mention the volume of the observable universe is 410 nonillion light years. So the cubic light years within what we can see is 410 with 30 zeros after it.
Do you think it ends?
So
We'll
Dude,
never be
there's
able to
no
know.
way.
Our
There's
minds
no
can't
way.
comprehend that.
in saying that, this is what we can just see. So what we can't see, according to scientific estimates, which nothing is ever written in stone, puts the unobservable universe, what we can't see, at 23 trillion light years across, or 15 million times bigger than what we can currently observe. So in layman's terms, that we can see a little bit over 0.4% of the universe.
Right.
0.4, not even a percent.
And yet people still will argue and say there's no chance that there's other life out
It's
there.
the most ridiculous.
It's
There
just
might be
beyond retarded theory.
Look,
and I'm not calling anybody one of those. It is just a retarded
There might
theory.
be other life forms on this planet. I mean, we haven't even seen a percentage of
There's
the
no
ocean.
doubt. Panspermia is a real thing, and there's no doubt we've got things from other
We
planets,
got
other systems that have come in here, whether it's microbes,
A
whether
jellyfish?
whether it's wildlife of some kind that we don't know that looks prehistoric to us,
we
or
are
if
not-
it's people. It wouldn't surprise me if there are alien people amongst
We're
us.
not
I've
even
met some of them
close
probably.
to seeing all the ocean.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's
No,
not
the
other
ocean is
things
the most
down there?
unexplored thing on the entire Earth.
I mean, you think about all the ocean that we don't know. Think about all the space
And
that's
how
out there that
deep
we
it
don't
goes.
know. I mean, for people to say that there's not a chance of alien life, or it's just not. It's not fathomable.
It is more ludicrous to say that there's not life out there than it is to say that there's little green men out there,
Wait, Matt,
which is not what we're saying.
As
But
Catholics, are we allowed to believe in science?
I mean, I think they frown upon it. But I mean,
here's my
you have
thing.
to meet it somewhere in the middle. Like you got to
That's what
use
I'm
logic.
saying.
Like I mean, I observe a lot of the Catholic principles, but some of the stuff doesn't make sense, and some of it they wanted people to suppress. They wanted to suppress you from learning, expanding your mind because you're a threat. The more you learn in the world, the more you're a threat to people.
Here's my thing. How, like, yes, I believe in a God, believe in all of that, but how can you not believe that he didn't create more?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like-
and you like if you think our species is his home run, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I doubt that. Now I know that goes against Catholic teaching. You know, we're supposed to be the civilized race of humans that God created, you know, out of his own likeness. So I guess that's kind of blasphemous that I said that, but it makes me question though. Like, I mean, we have so many flaws in our everything, from our own health to our own mental makeup to our own behavior.
I'm a believer that I'm like I don't know. I'm more of that. Like as I've gotten older, I'm more of a I don't know. I hope I pray that there is something out there that when we pass on, we go to some fluffy place where everybody's happy and we get to see our pets and but I'm more of the we can't possibly know.
Jub, you know what else?
Can't
You
know.
know what else Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about in that book, which I'm pretty sure is the same book. He said the smartest astrophysicists in the world, in the whole world, not just America, they've came to conclusion, like they can figure out how we got here to like down to like 99.99999. Like it can get to that Big Bang Theory spot on. They can't find the last percentage.
Yeah,
Like, and you're telling me a higher being isn't the factor.
those theories are amazing to me. And when you quote people like that or reference them, it is incredible the way that they talk about all the possibilities of how we've actually evolved. Like, there are people out there that believe that we literally could have evolved from literally sand in the ground. And to me, that's unfathomable. I'm sorry. I understand how animals evolve and how over time they develop, like elephants' trunks and all these different things and features to accommodate them in their lives. But how in the world somebody just pulled us up out of sand? There has to be someone there that did that. There's no way that they put these organs in our body just by chance or that just developed over time. There would never be enough. There would be no way of knowing what they're supposed to do. Like, you couldn't. Like, why do we have a pancreas? Why do we have lungs? Like, there had to be a battle plan there from a higher power, whether you believe it was a god or whatever. But the Big Bang Theory, for me, explains a lot, but it cannot explain the creation of man and the specialization of each and every species on this planet.
I think I would not be out of I would not be what am I looking for? I am of the persuasion that there is definitely some cosmic creator out there. Right. Do I think that he has a direct hand in like what we're talking about right now? I would say probably not. I would say like we evolved from the conditions that we were given. So I would imagine that if you would go to a planet thousands and thousands and thousands of light years, billions and trillions of light years away, the reason there's not, I would say there's not another one of this. There's not this around. I would say any other being on any other planet will look far beyond anything we could comprehend. Because
do you think they used to look like us?
No, I would say we are one of one. Like, our species is one of one.
Yeah,
So
okay, I would agree with that.
That's yeah.
So you believe in aliens?
Oh, 100%.
Short. So, but aren't you normally the kind of guy that's like, I need to see it to believe it?
I'm a guy. Ghosts, I'm out on.
So
I'm
that
out on
was
ghosts.
my next point. Like, so if you can believe in it, why can't you believe in ghosts? Even
Because
though you haven't seen either of them.
There's scientific evidence to back up the fact that there is a high likelihood of there's something being out there, given the scale of the universe and what I just said we can't see, put up against what we are. There's no one out there that has concretely, scientifically harnessed the power of a little ghost baby or
no,
whatever.
they've not been able to capture one, but spirits have been documented pretty strong.
And I don't disagree. If Soup takes a picture of a ghost, if you believe it's a ghost, I will. It's a ghost. But I am of the persuasion that until I find some sort of written or not written, but recorded documentation of a scientific study of a ghost saying, I'm a ghost, I died, I'm here. You
don't have one of those of aliens, do you? Though, like,
no, but I'm saying I
don't know. There's people that claim they've seen the alien bodies. I mean, literally testified to it.
I guess.
I mean, we haven't seen them.
I believe in both.
I guess the realms of being are so different because to be a spirit and a ghost means you're intangible of this dimension. Like, you're intangible of what we are experiencing right now. So you're a part of something totally separate that we can't fathom. To be just of a living being, we just have to go through the same process that we went through, which is, I would imagine, a probability amongst the grains of sand on any beach in the universe when we're talking about the scale of planets that are out there. If that makes sense.
What part of the world has the most extraterrestrial sightings?
South America, probably.
Yeah.
South America,
Wonder why it
parts
is.
of
Midwest
Asia, and then the Midwest here, but that kind of takes you down into New Mexico and the top of Mexico.
Why is that? Just because the way our
actually there's some, and I could be wrong about this, but it has something to do. There's I can't remember what they say. They're under the ground, so down in the Andes Mountains down through Chile, they have tons of sightings. They believe these aliens are mining natural resources from our planet.
Wow.
Like, there's good and there's deposits of a lot of this stuff in a lot of these hotbed areas. Like natural resources, things they could be using to fuel ships or I don't know what.
And I'm of the thought, Cools, that if if there are aliens, we are like the chimp of the like the caveman of the galactic society. Like if they looked like the anthill, we're an anthill compared to like a species that had like we're just here puttering along.
It would be like Planet of the Apes. If the apes were primitive and we were imbeciles.
We're the idiots of the society, and they come down here and mess with us.
I got a question for you. All right, so you made a good point about you think our species is one and only.
One of one.
Okay, so let me put this one in there. Time loop situation.
Ooh.
Jub in another dimension. Is he the same Jub or is he a Jub in a different world?
I think that
it's hard to grasp.
If there's ever is a multiverse,
right?
Then I guess that goes a little bit back on what I say.
Well, but I mean it's for debate.
But I also think that I am one.
You're still the same. You're just in a different time period.
You're like there's different versions of me.
Like, is that still happening? That's something I can't grasp. Is that still happening on the same planet? Like, there's a version of us for doing what we did an hour and a half ago, coming into the studio in another. If you believe in that stuff, which is not impossible.
No,
it can't not be impossible. I'm
like,
not expecting an answer. I'm just trying to get the debate.
It's hard to put
Are
in.
they in a whole other galaxy?
No,
that's the question.
Well,
we don't know. We don't. I'm asking him.
Crazy
there's another duplicate of Earth?
Isn't it crazy that people actually study that daily?
I mean, the multiverse theory, I think, is something that Stephen Hawking came up with. He was something about multiverse with him, but that would be not another galaxy. I mean, it could be another galaxy within our own universe, but the more probability would be
dimensions are. Go ahead.
Another dimension would be an exact copy of everything that ever has existed in our universe. So everything that we can possibly see and can't see is being duplicated into another.
How many universes do they say there are?
I mean, it could be endless. I mean, it could be me sitting here picking up my phone to me sitting here and like pissing on him. Like, like I could be like Soup. We could be sitting here and you could have a wiener on your head.
In a different,
but we're having the
different
exact
universe,
same conversation.
But
you have a wiener on your head.
Look, are they saying?
I want to be in that world.
Are they saying
that's a world I'll pass on?
Are they saying that our galaxy? There's how many? Do we know how many galaxies there are?
Oh, I mean, it's countless. I mean,
they discovered
there
many,
are estimates, but
you can never.
I'll tell you,
it's impossible to.
Why does it make your head hurt?
I don't think I know enough about it, and I just hate it.
Nobody knows enough about it. I mean, nobody can speculate. Even the guys who know a lot about it don't really know.
It's estimated between anywhere from 100 billion to 2 trillion galaxies.
Yeah. Like when
how
TV
many
shows do
that's
this
a
shit.
wide span. 1 billion, 100 billion to 2 trillion.
Well, there's no proof of there being a multiverse because there's no. We can't see another universe. We can see another galaxy, so there's no.
But don't you think it's going to come to some point where you're going to see your doppelganger out there?
There has to be another universe.
There's a story of a woman.
Actually, I don't know. That's crazy.
I think she was in the UK, or maybe actually in the US, and she was she was riding her bike when she was a kid. She was like riding a bike, playing ringing a bell, or singing a song or something, riding a bike. And then 40 years later, that same woman was walking on the street and she sees a girl riding a bike, sing a song, ringing her bell, and goes the other direction. And people claim that sort of time loop happens over. I'm also of the thought that maybe this is another, you're not going to like this one. You're not going to like this one. That we are all the same incarnation of everybody. So
I'm not saying he doesn't like that. I
am
like that
him.
Either.
I can't get that one.
So
but I get what you're saying.
Like there was I can't remember what video it was. It was like, and before you excel into like a godly being, you have to experience the life of everybody that's ever existed.
So there's some Hitler in all of us.
But not like in you, but like.
No, I know what you're saying.
I guess then you technically are.
People keep getting born.
So there's another iteration of this where I'm you.
So at one point,
I know what you're saying, but
so at one point I was Hitler.
You're whatever soul
Jump, how long would that
thing is in you.
Oh my God,
Jump, people keep getting born. So how would that
longer than your
end?
DNA code, which is like endless?
I don't know.
Jump, you would have to live every person.
You'd have to live every person. Then once you're done living every person, you excel.
Then it's over. That's only about
you like rise into another
job.
Then how did the first God get there? Because then
that's right, Cooley. I used to ask that question back in Catholic school. Who created God? Like it's an unthinkable question. We can never understand it.
What
and
if this
never
is all?
will figure it out.
What if this is all simulation?
What if it was a dream? Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
What if you get out of this? What if
Somebody
what if
was playing
you,
a video
all right,
game of our lives?
Yeah, you get out of here
That'd
and
be
you
fucking
get
boring.
hit by a bus, and then like you get hit, it goes dark, and then you open your eyes and you
reset.
and you take a headset off, and
I'd
they
be
go, "All
fine.
right, Brian, you lost your life. Time to go back in."
I'd literally punch the person.
But
next
but
to me.
but you remember it. You remember it up until a certain point, and then like once you get out, you remember why you're doing that. Maybe you're the people from the Three Body Problem. You're trying to find
Right.
a problem with something.
How about Peripheral? That show. Did you watch that?
Wait,
The Peripheral.
Wait.
It's on Apple.
I feel like who's in that?
Chloe Grace
Chloe
Moretz.
Grace. Yeah.
So when they put those Sims on, they
Yeah.
go into that real world.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
So
Terrifying.
Soup, you would get hit by a bus, and then you take the thing off, and then all of a sudden you would remember, okay, this is what I was doing. Time to go into another one, and then you put it on, and you forget what your job was before.
Dude, that makes me sick. How do you eat?
That's why people go into some like with mental issues like psychosis, like and they believe that kind of thing. And
Hey,
then
without spoiling anything, anyone seen Don't Worry, Darling?
I don't
Only
think so.
Darling.
You
Wait.
gotta watch.
Is
Oh
it a
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
With Florence Pugh?
and
Don't-
Harry
don't spo-
Styles.
Yeah,
Oh.
Cool's got.
Hannah
you
and
gotta
I
watch
watched
that.
it. Hannah and I watched
That's
it.
I loved it.
Didn't expect that one.
It's awesome. Did you
not
like it?
expect that one. Yeah, I did like it.
All right,
Yeah.
maybe Matt
Does that
might
have
like
something to do with it? With this?
And
With your-
on
little
the
bit.
train of what
okay.
we're talking
Is it?
about.
It's a movie.
Yes.
I mean, I like Florence Pugh. I usually would watch
She's
something
really
she's
good.
in. So, one last question, if the moderator wants to jump, but
Jeff, I gotta leave in 10 minutes if that's okay.
What time is it?
4:40.
We've
Yeah,
been
let's
going
go.
for a while. Anyway. Have you seen any of these studies where there's a photo back from 1920 and there's a person appearing with a brand new pair of Oakley sunglasses and a
No, I
smartphone,
haven't seen that
and
yet.
then the photos are not fake?
I think that's the same guy that has like it looks like he has a graphic
Yes,
key on.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. A graphic
No, I
like a
haven't seen
band tee.
that.
There's there's people say it's proof.
There's like
there's
pictures
been
of-
time travelers.
Of like ladies walking by like an old time camera. They
like
have a cell phone.
Victorian style dress in the time
What?
period, and then there's some dude that doesn't fit. You could find it picture, I'm sure.
There's
really
one where a
easily.
lady's walking down the street in the background of some old timey thing, and she looks at something and she goes like this, and it looks like she's on a cell phone.
I don't believe that for a second.
But I mean, they have like experts saying these were not fake. There's all X, Y, and Z reasons why this cannot be an imposter
There-
or fake or.
If they're smart enough to time travel, though, wouldn't they be smart enough not to just whip their phone out and take a phone call in the middle of a crowd?
Here's also my thought on that too. If time traveling, I'm assuming it hasn't been invented yet, because I always tell myself I'll lay in bed and I'll go, okay, if time travel's a thing and I could do it in the future, I would come back to right now. So like if we're in the future and I'm thinking
What if you're just not able to?
Yeah, that is true. But like if I'm thinking old Soup, like, hey, Soup, we could go back and prove ourselves wrong that we were time traveling. And then you just type in
Yeah, but then you fuck up the whole timeline, and then you won't get back. to
yeah,
that
maybe
point you
there's
were.
maybe
There
there's
has to be rules.
heavy laws.
Dude, there has to be rules with time traveling.
So like right now, we're talking in future's happening right
And we're
now.
like, we can't go back to and do that. Like, we can't go back to into that room.
Jarrett and I always say that when you are on a flight, go read Cooley's blog and you can read about how he sleeps on flights. Sleeping is like time travel. So like when you put your head down on the tray on the plane, Jarrett and I go, he's already in Florida right now.
I like that.
Yeah.
It is
I can't
kinda
sleep on
like
planes.
a
He's
fast
already there.
forward button.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do take a nap just so I get closer to whatever time I want to be at.
If you could, so there's a book, Matt, you might know what this is. I think it might just be called The Butterfly Effect, and they go back in time and they hunt dinosaurs, but they have a select path that they can't leave,
Right.
and they walk on the path, and one guy jumps off the path and he steps on a butterfly, and they get
Yes,
back into the future, and it totally
Changed all things.
ruined the whole
Wow.
timeline. If you had the chance to, like, if they said, "Cools, hey, we knew by Little Tyke, they have a My Hunter time traveler, and you can go back and you can kill a dinosaur for $1,000."
Do
No.
I know?
I watched Jurassic Park. I ain't trying.
Yeah.
Am
I'm
I
good
taking
with
the
it.
risk of the butterfly effect?
If you happen to like get pushed off, stumble off, swat a gnat,
Honestly, I'm not that interested in killing a dinosaur, so probably not.
what if you could have a
I'm
T-Rex?
not interested in killing anything.
What if you could have a T-Rex in your house?
Head over your
What
fireplace.
would I get out of that?
Be cool.
Be terrified.
You get a lot of women. If
Real
you get
quick,
them.
back to your ghost thing. What's your proof to that they're real?
He said real quick.
I don't have proof for any of it.
But I'm saying, why do you say they're real?
I just think that there's unlimited possibilities. If you sit here and tell me that you think time travel and all that is real, I don't see how you can possibly cross something off.
I just think
spirits of our own world have got to be very possible.
There's
Like,
science.
I don't think it's like just like a white ghost that looks like a bed sheet.
with a
You don't think
sheet
it's like
over it.
Casper? And
No, he's not. waving.
Slimer on Ghostbusters. Yeah.
I don't think that. But like, I don't know.
So if you die, is there a difference between you going to the big man, to the bad man, or a ghost?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, do you get to choose, or is there a difference?
I think
Maybe you're
however
trapped.
Something in your life decides that.
So, like,
I don't know what that is.
maybe you, like, we got sushi and we haven't eaten it yet.
Yeah.
And you die. You go to the bathroom and you get sucked in the toilet and you die.
And I become a ghost because I was
Because
still
you
hungry.
just were still, you wanted the sushi.
I don't think you could get sucked in there. The hole's not big enough in the toilet.
probably
He'd
not.
get sucked in. But I'd say I wouldn't time travel. I'd go forward. I wouldn't go backward, though.
Why the fuck would you go forward?
Because forward, you can't really mess anything up.
Yeah, but you missed out on stuff. What do
No,
you might
if
miss
I
out
could
on the
come
best day
back,
of your
no,
life.
I would go forward to come back. Like, I want to go forward.
Oh.
I would want to go forward like
I'm gonna ask you all
Like-
this stuff, everything.
400 years, and I want to see what
Oh.
things are like.
Well, that's different.
Well, everything's
You
probably
could
rubble
fuck
by
it up,
then,
though.
but
Yeah.
That could fuck something up.
nuh-uh.
Yeah, because it's a butterfly effect. Like it. Yeah, it
Reverse
definitely
butterfly
fuck-
effect.
Yeah,
Is
How
that a
about that?
thing?
it had to.
I guess it could be, but it's hard to think about. So if you went and traveled up in time, you vacated your life here, so that could affect things. Yeah, like what if? All right, this could get really dark.
Yes.
I better not start down this road. I might upset some people.
I get what
but-
you're saying,
but
though.
like, all right. Here's one. You go to another. You go up in time. No one knows you went. You're just gone from this earth. No one can find you. Your parents are distraught. Your brother's distraught. Your friends and family are distraught. One of us gets so upset we jump off a building and just we can't get over it. And when there's no explanation, authorities can't find you. I mean, that changed future right
Well, I
there.
guess
That's just.
But like, do
one example.
But do your direct effects like if okay? So here's what you'd have to also consider too is, oh boy, we're weaving the threads here. All right, if I'm now
Okay.
and right now I just hit my phone and I time traveled 10 years to Main Street, and I went out.
There's still potholes.
Yeah, and I went out and I took a handful of nails and I threw them out in front of the yard, and a car hit them and they crashed, blew up, hit a building, the building explodes, hundreds of people die. Now, if we go and I come back immediately, I'm here. 10 years later,
You could make sure they weren't there.
but how would? Oh man.
What do you
Don't-
mean?
don't even
what?
start
No,
this.
go
But
ahead.
10 years later,
You're
if
gonna
we're in
put me
that
to sleep.
scenario, we sit there and we wait. Would we see me,
Yes.
little me, like young me,
Yes.
run out there and throw the nails?
100%.
I would say probably.
And you could just make sure it didn't happen.
Probably not, because you're actively looking to go do it. And I think that would fuck it up.
Like if I saw myself, it would like short out.
Yeah, because like if the little you looked around and didn't see you, like I feel like you actively looking for it would change the whole course.
Dude, that makes my head hurt.
Depends on how much you're wanting. You
no,
knew.
that's a paradox then, because then when I went through the nails, I would turn around and I would see us all out there looking for
right.
me.
You would know. If
No, you wouldn't.
Bullshit, I wouldn't.
It hasn't happened yet,
But it's 10 years, so it would happen.
but you don't know that. How do you know that?
This is hurting my
Yeah,
head.
Yeah. It's-
Shut it
I mean,
down,
it's a
John.
fascinating discovery and
Well,
discussion.
Listen, I get it's a hassle. Email's dying. But send us an email.
Emails.
DM.
time.
Or like on social media.
I
Send
wish
us
my
an
emails
email.
at work would die.
Yeah, me
God.
too.
Jeez.
I have 53,000 in my Hotmail.
Jesus.
I sign up for things just so I can get.
My
an
dad's
email.
got like 890,000.
I remember.
I gotta delete them off once a year. It takes me days.
But send us either like an interesting fact or a thought about what we've talked about, like a topic. Give us something, please.
Yes.
I know that it takes a little bit of time, but just DM us, send us an email or something.
We'll give you a
Email's
shout-out.
great because like we know you like actively want that to be part of the show. If you DM us and just say, "Ha like wieners, balls," then that's like We can't talk about that, but give us something,
Yeah,
please.
even if you don't want to type,
Yeah.
make a little video clip and send it. or
Yeah,
something.
that'd be great.
Just yell at us and
Ooh.
tell us we're idiots.
Ooh, if you have any ghost experience this is great. If you have any ghost experience, ghost evidence, pictures, videos, or you ever want to explain a story, send it to us and we'll put it like right here on the
Yeah.
and we'll react to it
We'd love
on
to
the
get that
on the
feedback.
show. That'd be great. Oh
Yeah.
man. All
I'll
right.
be scared.
Pine Room, myself,
guys.
Soup, Matt, Cooley. We're gonna eat sushi now. Thanks for joining us here, Pine Room, episode 118 or 19. I don't remember
You
which
better
one
give
it
a
is.
bow if you're going to eat sushi.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then if we're time traveling,
May the force be with us.
yeah. All right.
See you next week.
Goodbye.